Manello.
Here.
Dallas. Okay. Dollinger. Harris. Singer. Staley Ferry. Trainier. Frizzalone.
Here.
We have a quorum. You also have Mr. Brooks and Mr. Mayor and Mr. Brooks.
All right, sounds good. Maria, start us off with the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome to our first meeting of the new year. First up, we have approval of minutes from the regular meeting November 1st, 2016. Move. Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Show me his, Ron, show me his abstaining, I wasn't there.
You can still review the minutes.
Yeah, I reviewed the minutes.
Well, there you go.
Yes, I thought you could always be on.
No. You are in the committee now. We have any old business, that was a new business, appropriating grant funds in the sheriff's budget from Department of Homeland Security Port Security Grant Program. You want to say a few quick words on that, Jerry?
These are grant monies.
Thank you.
These are grant monies that we received from the Port Security Grant. We want to use these monies to buy safety equipment for the SWAT team.
Okay. Any questions? The motion?
Motion.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
All right. And we are increased appropriations in the sheriff's budget from the SCAF grant.
Staff.
Yeah.
Staff grant.
Rashawn, did you want to mention anything about the individual expenses we're applying those to?
Sure, and maybe or Jerry can help me out. So basically, increasing in the appropriations, the Sheriff's Department received their SCAP grant fund, which usually comes after the budget is passed, and they're using those funds to appropriate in different line items to use those for various things in a couple of the sub-departments, and I'll let Vicki speak to that.
So the SCAP monies are utilized at the adult detention facility. So they have broken down, itemized what they would like to buy with the SCAP monies. They have a couple of vehicles on here. They have some, they're going to get a transport bus, a crew cab. They have some 3 new metal detectors that they need, in dire need of. We also would like to put some funds into training for the Correctional Concern Center and for some salary bonuses and overtime. And they've also like to put $30,000 into training for the officers. So basically, it's $167,934 in between all of those codes.
Okay. Any questions?
Is there a deadline for the funds need to be expended?
Once we get them appropriated into the proper line items, then we'll have to the end of November 30th to be able to utilize the monies. Yeah. The drawdowns are done, the monies are there, everything's deposited, it's in the revenue account waiting for us to determine where it needs to go and put it there. And then by the end of this fiscal year, we'll have it done. Once the monies are there, after today, with your approval, they'll start to get out there and make the purchases.
Chuck?
Can you expand on what you mean by bonuses?
Well, actually, no, but I can get that information for you. I've just actually, put it down where they needed it to go, that it was given to me by the chiefs at the ADF. So,
there is no bonuses. That was the way that the SCAP fund drawdown works, is they have certain categories that you have to tell them that the money's going to, and that line for them says salaries, bonuses, and blah, blah, blah. So there is no bonuses being paid by this. It's just something that's
salary and overtime.
Correct.
Okay, so it's just a list of, okay.
Correct. You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions? Motion?
Motion.
Have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Shaw. Next up, Brian, you want to just mention, we're designating Amalgamated Bank of Chicago as the county depository.
Yes, good morning, thank you. This, usually when, for the new members on the board, usually when you see me for a motion like this, it falls into more or less the advice and consent type component oversight. The county treasurer cannot work with a bank that the county board does not approve. We have a relationship with Amalgamated Bank. At one point, Amalgamated was processing ACH payments when someone would make an online tax payment. This goes back to the very beginning of Mr. Weber's administration and into the previous two treasurers. We haven't worked with them since 2012, but they have approached us about some money market deposits, getting higher interest yields and such. I can't find it anywhere in my records that we have a resolution for them. I know that we do, I just can't find one. So I'm just bringing them basically back as pro forma to ask for reapproval. We ran their call reports through our policies. They are a well-capitalized bank, and we don't see any issues with them, and we're seeking approval to work with them.
Okay? Have a motion? Move. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
No, I lost.
The turkey, you lost?
No, actually it was pancetta. Yeah, it's a tradition in my family that someone goes to the
Cuts their
room
finger
on
out?
New Year's Day. This year was my choice, and my Boy Scout son had recently sharpened all of Mom's knives. I was making lentil soup. I was at the very last stage of it, and it's not pretty. But thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, guys.
Opposed, the motion was carried. All right, thank you. Next up, we have identifying additional funds for exterior to Will County Judicial Complex. At the last capital meeting, we gave approval of the system that you see right there, and that little mock-up. And we will probably need additional funds, but I don't know that there's anything that we can do about that now until we see what the final numbers are for the whole project. But we probably will need some additional funds for the system. So we have to go to the next step, which is to see where we're at in the whole scheme of the number before we do anything else, Jim.
I think it's worth mentioning, though, that cladding system is about $450,000 more, less expensive cladding. But you're going to save about $1.2 million in long-term maintenance. So there really is a life cycle savings. The only reason I mentioned it is because you may see some more of this, even though the initial construction cost may be a little bit more, the life cost will be less. So, and that's just a justification. I just think we're just not adding
Right.
reason.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk through those numbers once we get that final number all together, and then we can highlight some individual items that may have moved us up a little bit. But again, we've asked all along the way, so everybody's aware of it, we've asked all along the way, any expense, we need to know what the acquisition cost is and what the long-term cost of maintaining it is. And in many cases, while we may be spending more upfront on something like you mentioned on this, we will probably save that and more over the life of the building just because of the maintenance. So, and that's a plus if we can do that. Okay? So
We're basing all those savings on a 50-year life cycle.
Right. So if we get 75, it's even better.
Exactly.
All right?
Motion?
No, there's nothing to do on that yet until we get a little further down the way. And the last thing is authorizing county executive to execute necessary documents for the delinquent tax program. Moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Do we have any public comment today? If we don't, it's going to make this my shortest meeting ever, so. I don't have any reports. Anybody else have anything to say? Then I think we'll move for adjournment.
Wow.
Second.
Wow.
All in favor?
Such a short time.